Hi, welcome to Becky's Garden Paradise. This is Sunday morning, January 10th, 2020, and I'm going to be having a canning day today, so welcome to my channel. I plan to share a variety of things with you, including, gardening, canning, recipes, and hopefully some words of motivation and inspiration for you. So today I'm going to be making salsa and pickles. So I was blessed with some cucumbers and Roma tomatoes from a dear friend of mine named Marsha. So Marsha, thank you so much for blessing me with those things so that I can can some homemade salsa and dill pickles. Not completely homemade. I have homemade salsa and pickles that I've canned, but today I'm going to be cheating and using Mrs. Wage's. So I went to Walmart today and got Mrs. Wage's salsa mix, as well as this kosher dill pickle mix. I'm not a fan of bread and butter pickles, and I've made bread and butter pickles before, made dill pickles before, but I really, really like the flavor of Mrs. Wage's kosher dill pickle mix. So I'm gonna get ready to start chopping or dicing my Roma tomatoes, but I went ahead and sliced the cucumbers last night and salted them, so they've been soaking overnight, and that helps pull a lot of the water out of them so that you'll end up with a crispier pickle. So before I can those, I'll drain them and rinse them really good to get, to wash that salt off, and I used canning salt, of course. So I'll be right back with you guys. I'm just showing you my little setup here. So I have my tomatoes washed. And this is the bowl that I'm going to put them in. I'm also going to get my big measuring cup out because I need to see how many jars of salsa I'm going to be able to make. So I'm looking for a minimum of 10 cups. But the more I have, then the more salsa I'll be able to make. So I'll be measuring that with my big 4-cup measuring cup. And then this is a little tip I have for your freezer bags or gallon size storage bags if you're putting food in the freezer, or in this case I'm going to be putting the scraps from the tomatoes, the tops and any ugly parts. I'll put those in this storage gallon size bag because I have a friend that has chickens, and so I save my food scraps for her chickens. Alright, so I'm back. I just finished chopping and all the tomatoes, and I've ended up with, let's see, right at about, or just under 12 cups. So the recipe calls for 10 cups, but I only had 4 tomatoes left, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and dice those up and put those in there because it's going to cook down anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and empty this into this bowl. Oop. Let's see if I can get the rest out. And if you're interested in learning how to can, I've only been canning for a couple of years, and so far I've only been doing water bath canning. One of my personal goals for 2021 is to learn how to pressure can this year. But I highly recommend Living Traditions Homestead and Homestead Heart for step-by-step canning videos. I'll, bring you along with me while I'm canning too, but if you're brand new, then I just suggest that you go over and check them out so that you can learn more. They really inspired me, and I've made salsas, jams, what else? Pickled jalapenos, pickled cucumbers, pickled squash, pickled sweet peppers, sweet pepper relish. That's the majority of the things that I've made so far. But join me on this journey, and we will learn together. If you have any tips or suggestions, feel free to leave those in the comments. And then also, if there's anything that you want me to show you or questions that you have, be sure to also leave those in the comments so that I can answer any questions. Alright, so I just wanted to show you guys when you salt these cucumbers, and I only used a couple tablespoons, maybe 3. It reduces the size because this bowl was full. And then I also wanted to show you could see, like when I tilt it, how much water that salt pulled out of the cucumbers. So I'm just going to drain that in my colander. And when you've salted the cucumbers like this, it's going to make them more brittle. So just keep that in mind when you're handling them, that they might snap or break in half a little bit easier, which is, you know, part of why it makes them crispy. Makes sense that they are gonna be like that. So, and then I just rinse them really, really good. I just rinsed out the bowl, but just try to move them around so that they get a good rinse. You don't want to soak them in water because you don't want to rehydrate them. You're just trying to rinse the excess salt. And I'll rinse them a couple of times like this before I start the canning process. This is the second container that I had filled with cucumbers, and you can see that, you know, the salt reduced the size and how much water is getting pulled out. So I'm going to rinse it, drain it, and rinse it the same way that I did the cucumbers in the colander. Alright, hey guys, welcome to Becky's Garden Paradise. I'm out here in my garden paradise. It's about 50 degrees today, and I'm just going to pull a few radishes, so I'll show you how many I get. This is one of the pots that I have radishes planted in. So there are some, like this one, that I'm going to pull today, and then this one I think that I can give it maybe another day. We'll see. Alright, so this is what I pulled for today. I left some in to let them grow a little bit more, but I think it's interesting to see the difference. Like the one in the middle is like the big mama radish, and the one on the end by my thumb is also pretty good size, and then a couple of them are like the typical perfect round radish. I think it might just be because I let the 2 big ones go a little bit longer than they had to, but I'm satisfied with that. That's enough for a nice snack or to garnish in a salad. So I'm happy with today's radish harvest. Still have some more to go, and I'm going to plant more to take the place of this handful that I just pulled. I mentioned to you guys earlier how I save my food scraps for my friend that has chickens. So while I was out this afternoon, she dropped these eggs off for me, and I just wanted to show you how pretty they are. You can't even see all the color differences because a lot of them look just white or blue, but they're different sizes. So pretty. I especially love the blue ones. Alright, so I'm finally finished with my canning for the day. So I'm going to show you guys what I have ended up with. So the recipe on the Mrs. Wages salsa pack said that it makes 5 pints. I was hoping that maybe I would get 6 since I put the 4 extra tomatoes in there. But I only ended up with 4.5, which happens a lot. So I'm just taking these out of the canner. I try to let the water drip off. And I put a towel on my hand so that I can catch any water droplets as I carry it over. And I always set up some old kitchen towels to put the jars out on. I'm still happy with these 4.5 pints because they will go to good use. I love to eat taco salad and chicken nachos and tacos and burritos and all kinds of stuff. So I haven't bought any store salsa in a good 7 months or so since I've started making my own this past year. Alright. The salsa recipe that I used in the past was a hot jalapeno salsa from the ball canning book. This is the first time I've used Mrs. Wage's, but I like the way that the Mrs. Wage's pickles come out so much that I figured salsa must be good too. And there's no artificial flavors, no preservatives. It's seasoned with dehydrated vegetables, jalapenos, onions, garlic, things like that. So I'm not worried about anything yucky being in it. And so you can see here, move my coffee out of the way. I ended up with 4 quarts of kosher dill pickles. And yeah, I used slicer cucumbers, but I don't care. They still taste good to me. I did a better job this time of slicing the pickles thinner. I have a habit of slicing the pickles thick, which is okay because I love pickles, but you're going to, in the past I've had really good thick and juicy pickles, which I like, but not everybody else might be as crazy about. And then these are the 4 pints of the salsa. So I used 10 cups of diced fresh Roma tomatoes, and all it called for was a half a cup of vinegar, and then the Mrs. Wage's salsa packet. So this is the half pint. That, since it wasn't a full pint, I didn't put it in a canner. I have these jar lids you can get on Amazon. You can get them at Walmart. Whenever I open a jar, whatever it is, pickles, peppers, jam, salsa, I throw the lid away and then put this plastic lid on there when I keep it in the refrigerator. And then you just wash it and reuse it. So they make them in the regular mouth and the wide mouth. So I've had a really hard time lately finding wide mouth lids. So I've had to do everything with regular mouth lids just because I barely have any wide mouth lids left. So if you've been able to find wide mouth ball canning lids, post in the comments where you found them, because I've looked at the stores near me, so maybe I need to venture a little bit further away. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if there are any specific things that you want me to show you, like if you would like a step-by-step video to see exactly how I make the pickles and make the salsa, then just let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you for joining me.